let's answer some frequently asked beer questions. Yes, so this is my response to Peter the Clueless Drinker's response to Tasting Nitch's original video on these set of frequently asked beer questions. So let's get into it. Question 1. So how did I get into beer and become a geek about it? Well, first of all, I think I had quite a typical experience to a lot of people in the UK. So I started drinking macro lagers on nights out, and I got a bit bored of them. The main reason was because they're so gassy. It was just, you just felt awful on a night out. So instead, I moved over to, like, I had Guinness quite a lot, and then moved on to sort of to ales, like Green King IPA. So I still wasn't drinking like good stuff. And then I moved on to what I consider to be better stuff. So for me, it was Adnams. Still have a massive soft spot for Adnams. Don't drink it as much as I used to. So that was what got me on my way. And then the major catalyst was moving to France with my then fiance, now wife. The sort of beers that were out in the restaurants and bars there were sort of like Grimbergen, Affligem, Chimay. They were the beers that were just the sort of usual standard beers. So already it was a bit different. And then I just started delving deeper into the Belgian side. There was a wonderful Belgian bar in the city that we lived in that we used to go to all the time. And actually, that's the first place I ever had Punk IPA was in that bar. So they did a few other things besides Belgian beers, but I mean, it was like Quack, just like the glass that Quack comes with, that got me into it. So those Belgian beers got me into sort of like tasting beers and experiencing all these different styles. And then when I came back to England, I thought, oh man, I want to continue this. Let's see what else is out there. And that's when I found craft beer and started making videos about it. And as they say, the rest is history. So that was a long answer. Question 2. Ba-ding! Now, favourite beer is a hard one. It's a bit, for me, like favourite song. I don't have one. I like so many. A few that spring to mind is Stone Chocovesa. I had a rare version of Imperial Biscotti Break in Torst when I was over in Brooklyn, and that was Pappy's Imperial Biscotti Break, which was crazy. That was one of my all-time favourites. And then I have sort of like those beers that got me into craft beer. So that's where like Gamma Ray and stuff comes into it. So it's not an easy question to answer, but I have a lot. That's the answer there. Question 3. Bonk. So, one beer forever. Again, it's hard to choose one beer that I would have forever. I think if it was style, it would be IPA. But then I don't think I could live without not being able to taste like a sour beer. I need sours in my life. So if I had to pick, it'd probably be some sort of like sour beer. Maybe like a sour IPA. Let's go for that. A sour IPA. Question 4. Well, one thing that I think is a misconception about doing these videos, or sort of like beer in general, is that you drink a lot of it. I actually drink less now than I did when I was drinking macro lagers. So when I was drinking macro lagers, I would buy like a case of 24 and like hammer through that, not in like a day or anything, but I could get through those quite quickly. Whereas now, I mean, I have maybe one beer a night, like averaged out. Like some nights I don't have a beer, and I might have like a couple or 2 or 3 on the weekend, or when we're doing like a video hangout, like have 3 then and not drink for the next couple of days. So actually I drink a lot less than I did when I was drinking macro beer. And how do I stay healthy? Well, I don't really. I need to exercise more. I mean, I have a young child, I have a wife, and they keep me on my toes. I go up and down the stairs quite a bit. I work from home as well. So really I don't, and I should. So help me stick to that. Question 5. I'm not addicted to alcohol. I don't need to have it. I want to have it. No, I mean, yeah, simple question, no, because I don't need alcohol, so I'm not an alcoholic. Question 6. If we're going the 4 main ingredients of beer, so water, hops, malt, and yeast, I'd have to say water. No, not really. Yeah, so for me it probably would be yeast. because I think it can just change a beer so drastically, and you can do so much with it. And I'm a huge sour beer fan, so sort of like wild cultures and yeast is probably my thing. And then adjuncts, I don't know, coffee, yuzu. Big fan of yuzu beers when I can get them. Anyway, next 7. No, I don't. I actually have all the equipment ready to go, and I've had it for a little while, but I've just never got round to it. We've moved quite a bit. I've never wanted to sort of start it and sort of have to pour it away because I can't finish it or something like that. So now we're in sort of a place where we're going to be for quite a while. I think I better do it. Plus my wife brought it for me, so I really should do it. Question 8. First beer was probably something like a Carlsberg. Or something like that. Something horrible. Carlsberg or Budweiser. I can't think of what my first craft beer would have been. Probably Punk IPA. But it was Punk IPA in a Belgian bar in France. So, last question, 9. I mean, I consume just so much like beer content. But someone who I look up to a lot in my respective field of talking about beer on the internet, it would probably be Rob from Hopscene. Got to know him over the last couple of months as well, and he's just an outstanding fella. And yeah, he's always been very supportive. I mean, he found my channel very early on, and was sort of like, "Hey, join like the Facebook pages," and sort of like, and he left comments, and I mean, he just knows so much, like so knowledgeable in. I admire the way he does things in his videos. Like, I always think he's just so good at describing sort of like aromas and that sort of thing. So yeah, so it'd be Rob, I reckon. The other people I look up to in terms of just sheer envy is probably the craft beer channel. Johnny and Brad, I just think, just have probably like the best job in the world. They get to travel to all those places, drink all those amazing beers, and they seem to have made a business out of it. So it is it's absolutely fantastic. So I admire them greatly. So yeah, the next thing was to tag people for the next batch. But like sort of my fellow beer friends have sort of tagged everybody that I know, really. So I don't want to repeat them. So my idea was, as this is on the subject of frequently asked beer question, a question or a phrase I've heard multiple times is, how can I start doing beer videos? How can I, or I wish I did beer videos, or I want to do beer videos. So my tag, as it were, is to anyone watching who wants to start doing these videos, because this is great fun and it's a great community. If you want to start doing it, why not use this as a perfect excuse to do your first video? Introduce everyone to yourself and then start beer reviews or whatever you want to do after that. So anyone who wants to start a channel and they haven't yet for whatever reason, use these frequently asked beer question videos as your first video. I've been Jake, so remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. Don't know what that was. Bye.